scene with you.
Few players in Major League Baseball history have been as dominating as the Express, Nolan Ryan.
On the way. Strike 3 call.
He had one of the best fastballs in baseball history.
Wow, is he throwing hard. Holy cow, what smoke.
His 12-6 breaking ball was absolutely devastating. And he was one of the most feared pitchers in baseball during a career that spanned decades. He's certainly a guy that packs a punch on and off the field. He'll always be remembered for his fight with Chicago White Sox outfielder Robin Ventura. Yes, a 46-year-old Nolan Ryan put a 26-year-old outfielder into a headlock and skull punched him before his infielders showed up. That competitiveness and those abilities translated to a lot of success. Nolan Ryan was an 8-time All-Star, a multiple-time league strikeout leader, and his jersey number is retired by 3 of his 4 Major League franchises. He's also a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. With a Hall of Fame career spanning nearly 30 years, Ryan had plenty of seasons that could be considered among the best in baseball history. However, this season, 1987, was perhaps one of his most interesting. On paper, it wasn't a great year, but when you dig a little deeper, you learn a little bit more about how amazing he really was. Ryan finished the 1987 season with a less than impressive win-loss record of 8-16, one of the worst of his careers. In fact, it was the first time since the early 1970s that he failed to eclipse the 10-win mark. Not including his rookie year, when he only made a handful of appearances, Ryan only missed double-digit victories 5 times in his career. But those 8 wins in 1987 don't tell a complete story. Despite only earning 8 wins in 34 starts, Ryan still led the National League in earned run average. And at 40 years old, he became the oldest player in Major League Baseball history to lead the league in strikeouts. He also earned the dubious distinction as the only player to lead the league in earned run average and strikeouts, but not win the Cy Young Award. And remember, Nolan Ryan was 40 years old. And as a 40-year-old, Ryan logged over 200 innings on 30 starts, threw 270 strikeouts, and had an earned run average of 2.76. But that dismal win-loss record, 8-16, kept him from the elusive Cy Young Award. Ryan was by far the most efficient pitcher on the Houston Astros staff. His control of his legendary fastball was more on point than at any other time throughout his career. And if you think he was somehow more accurate because he was backing off of the velocity due to his age, no way. Ryan's fastball was still averaging mid to high 90s, and he regularly topped the century mark throughout the season. In addition to his fastball velocity and precision, Ryan's curveball and changeup were unbelievable. His curveball continued to disappear explosively toward home plate, and his changeup completely unwound any attempt at timing or guessing at Nolan Ryan's other pitches. Ryan credits his changeup as the key to him pitching well into his 40s. Together, Ryan's pitches were absolutely vicious, and he had all 3 of those pitches working full tilt in 1987. So, how exactly did Nolan Ryan manage to lose 16 games that season? Some of the blame, unfortunately, can be pointed at the Astros' offensive run support. Ryan was absolutely shutting down opposing hitters at the plate. He gave up fewer hits per 9 innings than anyone else in baseball. But his team just couldn't push runs across the plate for him. On 8 separate occasions, the Houston Astros only scored a single run when Nolan Ryan was on the mound. The 1987 Houston Astros were pretty average at the plate, with just 4 runs per game. But when Ryan carried them onto the field, the Astros simply forgot how to hit the baseball. The Houston Astros put up 3 or fewer runs in 20 of his starts, and over half of those games were limited to 0 or 1 run. But how did Ryan pitch during the worst of the Astros' offensive days? During those 11 appearances, when the Astros only put up 0 or 1 run a game, Ryan pitched 79 innings, allowed just 43 hits, 20 earned runs, and 25 walks, while throwing 84 strikeouts. Those are amazing stats, but holding opponents to a 2.27 ERA during those 11 games, while amazing, doesn't earn the win if your team can only push in 1 run, if they score at all. Now, on the other side of the coin, in the 14 games in 1987 when the Houston Astros decided to hit the baseball for Nolan Ryan, he would pick up a victory in 6 of them, with only a pair of losses in that span. No matter how dominant Nolan Ryan was at shutting down opposing hitters, the lack of offense from the Houston Astros sabotaged almost all chances to log a win. It also cost Nolan Ryan the Cy Young Award. In addition to the lackluster offense, Ryan's bullpen did him no favors. There were multiple occasions when Nolan Ryan would exit the game with a lead, only to watch his bullpen give away his win. No one could expect a 40-year-old pitcher to go the distance every game, even Nolan Ryan. Wear and tear comes with age, even with decades of success. So Ryan was often pulled before or following the 7th inning of games. Even after he left the game, the Astros still couldn't hit in games that Nolan Ryan started. Following his exit on 5 different occasions, the Houston Astros were outscored 40-13. This led to blown leads and the opportunity for Ryan to pick up a victory. Ryan's bullpen left him with 10 no decisions in 1987. That's more no decisions than he had wins. It didn't matter what kind of gift Nolan Ryan handed to his bullpen, no lead was safe. On 2 notable occasions, Ryan pitched absolute gems only for his bullpen to give up the game in extra innings. During the start and the beginning of the season in April, Ryan pitched 8 scoreless innings against the Cincinnati Reds. However, the Houston Astros were unable to put a single run across the board, and they would go on to lose 3-0. Later that season, Nolan Ryan put on an absolute clinic against the San Diego Padres. He threw 9 innings and only gave up a single run. However, yep, you guessed it, no run support, and Houston lost in extra innings again. During one particularly abysmal stretch during the season, Ryan threw a 3.07 earned run average in 22 starts. Most Major League pitchers would consider that a banner year, but Ryan only earned 3 victories during that span. Everyone who loves baseball history remembers the Big Red Machine. And the Cincinnati Reds give us perhaps the best example of Nolan Ryan's 1987 campaign. The Reds were the powerhouse in the 1980s and 90s, and Nolan Ryan made 4 starts against the Cincinnati Reds in 1987. No one should be surprised that in 1987, Nolan Ryan was a combined 0-4 against Cincinnati. However, in those 4 starts, he only gave up 6 earned runs and recorded 28 strikeouts, including twice reaching double-digit strikeouts. The Houston Astros would go on to lose those 4 games by a combined score of 22-2. When Nolan Ryan climbed the mound, the Astros couldn't hit, and the bullpens couldn't pitch. Even Nolan Ryan couldn't overcome that. Nolan Ryan is a legend, easily one of the greatest pitchers to ever toe a rubber and stare down a hitter. But the game of baseball can be absolutely cruel. It's always unforgiving, and sometimes it can be downright confusing. What would 1987 have been for Nolan Ryan if the Astros had an offense and a bullpen? Would Nolan Ryan have earned the Cy Young Award, which eluded him his entire career? We'll never know, and perhaps that's the beauty of baseball.